Hi, I'm Andrew, and in this tutorial I'll show you how to create reusable front-end components in CrocoBuilder, both manually and with AI. CrocoBuilder is a visual WordPress builder that combines page building, reusable components, dynamic content, and direct access to HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in one workflow. We'll start with a simple subheading, then build more advanced pricing and testimonial cards, add editable properties, repeaters, variations, and JavaScript behavior, and finally reuse a component in Gutenberg. By the end, you'll understand how CrocoBuilder components can help you build faster, keep your designs consistent, and avoid recreating the same elements across different pages. For this demonstration, I'm working in a project where the design system has already been configured. That means the components we create can immediately reuse the existing styles, variables, and design tokens, helping them stay consistent with the rest of the website. To get started, let's open the component builder and look at how its workspace is organized. From the Crocoblock builder editor, go to the top toolbar, open Tools, and select Component Builder. This takes us to the component library where all reusable components created for this current website are stored. From here, we can open an existing component, edit it, or create a new one from scratch. For this first example, we'll create a simple component manually, so click Add New HTML and CSS Component. This opens the Component Builder workspace. On the left, we have the component settings and editable properties. In the center, there's a live preview and the HTML template. On the right, we can add the component CSS and JavaScript logic. At the top, we can also switch between Dev mode, where everything is configured manually, and AI mode, where we can generate or update the component from a text prompt. We'll begin in Dev mode and create a reusable subheading component step by step. First, I'll enter the component name. Next, I'll add a property. Properties create editable controls that can be changed every time the component is used. For the label, I'll enter heading text. This is the name that will later appear in the component settings. For the token, I'll use heading_text. The token connects this property to the HTML template. Wherever I place it inside double curly brackets, CrocoBuilder will output the value entered in this field. For this component, I'll use the text property type. Other available types include text area, select, image, color, and repeater, and we'll see how some of them work in the more advanced examples later. The default value is the initial content shown in the preview and used when the component is first added. I'll input Enter your text here. The required option can be enabled when the property must always contain a value. We don't need it for this example, so I'll leave it disabled. The description field is optional helper text for anyone editing the component. Below the properties, there are three additional options. Register as block makes the component available as a Gutenberg block after saving and reloading the block editor. Allow children slot lets us place regular Crocoblock elements inside the component. And web component registers the component as a custom HTML element that can be used outside the CrocoBuilder editor. We'll take a closer look at the last two options later in the tutorial. Now in the HTML template, I'll add a div with the subheading class and place the heading text token inside it. The HTML template defines the structure of the component. In this case, the structure is very simple. One container that displays the editable heading text. The class name gives us a way to target this element in the CSS field. At this point, the property is already connected to the component and the live preview displays its default value. The structure is ready, so next we can define how the subheading looks. In the component CSS field, I'll style the subheading by making the text uppercase, setting its size and weight, and using Flexbox to align the text with the decorative marker. For the colors, I'm using existing CSS variables from the project's design system. These variables are available from the globe button next to the component CSS field, where I can view and reuse the values already defined for the project. This keeps the component consistent with the rest of the website and avoids hard-coding separate color values. The before pseudo element creates the small dot before the text, while the box shadow adds the lighter ring around it. As I add the CSS, the live preview updates immediately, so I can see the final result without leaving the component builder. With the structure and styling ready, I'll save the component. Now I can return to the CrocoBuilder editor and find the new subheading element in the components section of the Elements panel. I'll drag it onto the page. Because the component includes an editable property, I don't need to touch its HTML or CSS here. I can simply change the heading text value in the Elements settings. As soon as I enter new text, the component updates on the canvas while keeping the same styling. This is the main benefit of reusable components. The structure and design are defined once, while the content can be customized separately for every instance. And now that we've seen how to build a simple component manually, let's move to a more advanced example and use AI to generate a complete pricing card. I'll create a new component and open the AI assistant, where I can describe the component I want to build in plain language. In the prompt, I'll mention all the essential elements that the component may need: the plan, name, description, price, billing details, button, 2 card variations, and a repeater-based list of features. I'll also specify the property type for each field. While the AI would likely choose appropriate types on its own, defining them explicitly helps ensure the component is generated exactly as intended. Once I submit the prompt, the AI assistant generates the component for me. After the process is complete, I can close the AI assistant and continue working in dev mode, where I can inspect everything it created. On the left, we now have editable properties for the plan name, description, price, billing information, button, variation, and feature list. The variation property uses the select type, giving me 2 options, default and featured. In the HTML template, the selected value is checked with a condition. Depending on the selected option, CrocoBuilder adds a different class to the card, such as the default or featured modifier. Then in component CSS, each modifier can have its own styling. This is what allows one component to switch between different visual versions without duplicating the entire component. The features property uses a repeater. A repeater is useful when the number of items is not fixed. Instead of creating a separate property for every feature, we define the fields once and can then add, remove, or rearrange as many items as needed. In the HTML template, the repeater is rendered through a loop. This line starts the loop and tells CrocoBuilder to process every item added to the features repeater. Inside that loop, the individual repeater field is displayed using the item token. Then the loop ends here. As a result, every new feature added in the component settings automatically becomes another item in the pricing card. The generated CSS controls the overall design, including the layout, spacing, typography, feature list, button, and variation styles. And because the component remains fully editable, I can adjust the generated properties, HTML or CSS manually, or open the AI assistant again and ask it to refine a specific part. Now I'll save the component and return to the Crocoblock editor. From the Components section, I'll add the new pricing card to the page and place it inside a container. Then I'll duplicate it twice, so we have 3 instances of the same component. Although all 3 cards use the same structure and styling, each instance has its own editable property values. I'll use the first card for the starter plan, the second for Pro, and the third for Business. For each card, I can update their properties individually. The repeater makes the feature list fully flexible. I can add a new feature, remove an existing one, edit its content, or change the order without touching the HTML template. For the middle card, I'll change the variation property from default to featured. Because the HTML applies the featured modifier class and the CSS contains separate rules for that variation, the card immediately receives an alternative styling. Depending on the generated design, this can include different colors, a highlighted button, a border, shadow, or a featured badge. So instead of creating and maintaining a separate component for the highlighted plan, we can control both versions from a single reusable component. This is also where reusable components become especially practical. The shared design remains consistent, while the content and selected variation can be managed independently for every card. So far, we've built components manually in dev mode or with the AI assistant. Now let's switch to AI mode and create another component from a text prompt. I'll describe the component I want to build, including all the essential elements I want it to contain. In this example, that's a reusable testimonial card with editable content, a star rating, and an avatar whose background color can be changed. After a few moments, the component is generated automatically. The completed card appears in the live preview, while the left panel shows the conversation history, including both my prompts and AI's response. Now let's switch back to dev mode, where we can inspect everything AI generated, including the properties, HTML template, and the component CSS. Just like before, all editable properties are available on the left. We have fields for the testimonial text, author information, the avatar color, and the rating. The rating is implemented as a select property, so instead of entering a value manually, I can simply choose the number of stars. If we look at the HTML template, we can also see conditional statements that render the correct number of stars based on the selected rating. The avatar background uses a color property, allowing me to choose one of the available project colors directly from the editor. The generated CSS follows the same approach as our previous component, using the project's existing CSS variable instead of hard-coded values. And just like with manually creating components, everything remains fully editable. I can make changes immediately or come back later to update the HTML, adjust the styling, or continue refining the component with AI. So far, the components we created have been mostly static. Their content and appearance can change, but they don't respond to user actions. For the next example, I'll create an interactive component and show how the component logic field works. I'll open the AI assistant and ask it to generate a reusable, expandable information card. The component will include editable properties for title, a short description, expanded content, and a button label. By default, the card should display only the title, short description, and button. When the button is clicked, the additional content should appear, and clicking it again should collapse the card. Because this behavior requires interaction, I'll explicitly ask the assistant to generate JavaScript in the component logic field and make sure that every instance of the component works independently. Once the component is generated, I'll close the AI assistant and review the result in dev mode. On the left, we have the editable content properties. In the HTML template, the component includes the visible content, a toggle button, and a separate panel for the expanded text. The component CSS controls the default and expanded appearance, while the component logic field contains the JavaScript responsible for the interaction. Here, the script listens for a click on the button, changes the component state, reveals or hides the extended panel, and updates the button accordingly. Again, we can modify the component through AI Assistant or by manipulating codes manually if the AI didn't quite understand our intent from the first time. Because the logic is scoped to each component instance, multiple cards can be added to the page and opened or closed independently. By now, every part of our component has been controlled through editable properties. But sometimes, instead of creating another property, it's more convenient to let users insert regular builder elements directly into the component. That's exactly what a children slot is for. I'll open the pricing card component and enable Allow Children slot. Now in the HTML template, I'll need to define where nested elements should appear inside the component. I will add the slot placeholder wrapped in a simple container. To give this area a little spacing, I'll also add a small CSS rule for the slot container. After saving the component, I'll return to the page editor. Now when I select the pricing card, there's a new drop area inside the component exactly where I placed the slot. I'll drag a regular CrocoBuilder text element into it and enter most popular choice. Notice that this text isn't another component property. It's a regular builder element nested inside the reusable component. This approach gives you much more flexibility. Properties are great for structured data, while slots let you extend the component with additional content whenever you need it, without modifying the component itself. For example, one pricing card could display a most popular badge, another could include a limited time offer, while a third could contain an additional button, image, or icon list. All of them still use the same reusable component, you simply customize each instance by adding different nested elements. Finally, let's look at one more capability of CrocoBuilder components. So far, we've been using our components inside the CrocoBuilder editor, but they can also be registered as custom web components and used in other parts of WordPress. I'll open the Subheadings component again. Under the component settings, I'll enable Register as a custom HTML element. This allows CrocoBuilder to expose the component as a reusable custom element. Next, I'll provide a component tag. A component tag is the custom HTML element that will identify this component, so it should be unique and follow the standard naming convention using lowercase letters and a hyphen. After saving the component, it's ready to be used outside the builder. Now I'll open a page in a WordPress block editor. Here I'll insert a custom HTML block. Inside it, I'll paste the custom element we just registered. Here, CB subheading is the custom HTML tag we assigned to the component, while heading text matches the property token we created earlier. The value inside the quotation marks becomes the text displayed by the component. You won't see the rendered component directly inside the custom HTML block, but once I open the page preview, the subheading appears with the same structure and styling we created in Crocoblock. Now I'll go back to the editor and change the text. After previewing the page again, the component updates automatically while keeping the same design and behavior. So, CrocoBuilder introduces a modern, component-based workflow to WordPress development. The combination of reusable components, AI-assisted generation, and full access to the underlying HTML, CSS, and JavaScript opens up a lot of possibilities for building faster, maintaining consistency, and creating your own reusable component library. This is just the beginning, and we'd really love to hear what you think. Your feedback helps us understand how you're using CrocoBuilder, how it can be used, and where you'd like to see it evolve next. If you'd like to stay up to date with new features and tutorials, don't forget to subscribe to the Crocoblock YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.